Hello everyone, this is Tormuse, and picking up where I left off in Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, yeah, last time I had hoped last time to finish off Yuri's route. I didn't even start it, so I'm gonna do that today, and maybe get into Act 2. We'll see how things go, I guess. Yeah, just waiting for the good old Metaverse Enterprises Solutions thing to finish loading. Figure I include this part as part of the stream. I include that as part of the stream just in the off chance that something different happens. I sort of wonder if it's going to change once it hit Act 2, or Act 3, or Act 4. We'll see. For now, loading up the vanilla DDLC content. Here we go. Excuse me. Yuri coming right up. Hey, the LMC thingy announced my stream properly. the bot is a little tentative when it comes to YouTube streams. Doesn't always announce it. Anyway. Alright, so we need to go right back to the very first poem, and let's make a... Here's where we go, all Yuri all the time. So it's all the long words. Portrait, as in Portrait of Markov. Misfortune. Wait, misfortune is a Sayori word? Gosh darn it. This is supposed to be the easy one. Okay. Unending. Landscape as opposed to portrait. I think suicide might... Yeah, that's the Yuri word. Graveyard. Are none of the... Oh, covet. Uncontrollable. I have to be careful with my clicks because my mouse is acting up. It has a tendency to double click, so I'm... Electricity. I'm deliberately holding the mouse button down for some duration because that seems to portrait again seems to mitigate the issue. Infallible. Wrath. Silly. Cage. Yes. Essence. Melancholy. Scars, maybe? I think that might be a Sayori word. Analysis. Disoriented. It's all the long words or unusual words. Not necessarily long words. Like cage is one of them still, because cage doesn't fit into the other categories of simple one and capable. Simple for Natsuki, or in the middle for Sayori. Sunda's here. Hey, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Variance. Incongruent. There we go. Perfect Yuri. Yay, achievement unlocked. There you go. 20 out of 20 words for Yuri. So we're gonna save, just in case I mess things up. And I'm just gonna skip to the new content, which will be all the Yuri interaction. Here we go. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more, but at the same time, I would feel bad for distracting her from reading. Catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book that she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Yuri's words are easy to spot. Yeah, no kidding. Crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me, and our eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry, I was just spacing out. I muttered this, sensing I had made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book that you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Just curious. How come you have 2 copies of the same book? Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy 2 of them. Ah, I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decide to let it go. Yeah, it's hinting that Yuri specifically went to the bookstore just to get the book for him as a gift, which is a hint at her yandere tendencies later on. Like she, as much as she's just shy and insecure and so on, she does have some obsessive tendencies. They're sort of buried deep in her. But so you only see glimpses of them in Act 1. Anyway, moving on. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Oh, that's well. Is that so? What's it about, anyway? Well, Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. All right. I just wanted to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison, and while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships, and her life starts to fall apart. That's kind of dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn came from nowhere. Uh-huh. Yuri gently giggles all of a sudden. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Tormuse? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri's into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. That's Yuri being Yuri. Now, curious thing, the YouTube is showing 0 viewers, even though there has to be at least 1 since Slender's there. I don't know, this not be displaying properly. Weird. Anyway, moving on. It's just that those kinds of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange new perspective, when horrible things happen not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals, or their own philosophy that they believe in. And suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, they're made out to be the naive one for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. here's why I relate to Yuri so much. Apologizing for rambling so much. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's all right then. That's right where she's fishing with her hairs. Yeah. Yep, that's very Yuri. Yeah. Anyway, move on. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. That's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? You don't have to. What are you saying? Just a moment ago you said you were looking forward to it. Well, let me just get the book. I quickly retrieve the book that I put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. They open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing, maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri's in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. Looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry, I was just... Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. Feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I do the same thing with my right arm, on the right side of the book. That way I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? To turn the page? Sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. You continue reading. Yeah, that shows her being being hard on herself, like being patient with her, like as if it's a big deal. I don't know. We get through to Act 2 as well. I think so. Anyway, moving on. Continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey, Yuri. This might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways, but she also second-guesses all the things that she says and does, like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see into your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms. I see. Yuri remains silent for a moment. But Tormuse, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. It's so embarrassing that you think that. Wait, I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I really didn't know you were self-conscious about that sort of thing. I guess I more meant that's kind of cute. What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay, everyone. I think it's about time that we share today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Yuri exhales, spared from finishing her thought. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's not. It's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright. Guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you? I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way. In that case, I'll read a little more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, you know? I don't really like Act 2 Yuri. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty common reaction. I don't think she was she was particularly written to be, you know, likable, particularly like in mainstream, but I mean, I don't know, there's some people who like her more that way, but yeah, I think Dan was trying to convey the sense of creeping horror of her losing her mind. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's funny, you know, going through this again. Maybe this is just me being jaded, and it's a reflection of the fact that I've gone through this many times. That Yuri's route is kind of uninteresting, you know, compared to Sayori and Natsuki's, where like stuff actually happens, whereas with Yuri they're just sitting there reading. This is the introvert route, you know. They're just sitting and reading. Nothing actually happens. Oh well. Anyway, I still like Yuri the best, but I still find her the most relatable character. But moving on. That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters in your own time. All right. I stand up. Make a mental note of where I left off in the book, then slip it back into my bag. By the way, this is stuff we read before. Skippy. I'm gonna save again, just in case I do something wrong. Sayori should be the same. You know, she'll like the poem, she doesn't love it. Natsuki, it's gonna be the same as one of the, I think. Wait, oh, it's not skippable. Tommy, oh, she hates it. Tommy's, if you're not going to take his club seriously, then go home. What? Harsh. What, you expect me to believe you actually put effort into this? You think I'm stupid? I'm not a writer. Maybe it's not very good, but yeah, I did put in effort. We all start somewhere, right? If you're still proud of the first poem you ever wrote, then I'd like to read it. Painful to think about? Fine. Well, sorry. You'll get better anyway. Tell you what to improve, but you're better off just trying again. That is harsh. Someone says, by the way, since I watched Storm, I've never been able to unsee what Yuri thinks about and what she does when she gets home after every day. Well, I mean, you know, it's just it's just one possible interpretation of what she does. It doesn't necessarily reflect what I mean, you know, it's what you know, what canon version of her does. But anyway, moving on. Fair enough. Well, to each their own, I guess. Anyway, I guess I gotta share mine now. Knowing you, you'll probably think it's stupid. And there's Eagles Can Fly, and we've read that before. And I'm gonna skip ahead because this is all the same. Yuri's should be different, or at least part of it is different. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. Eh? What was that? Huh? Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. He's going to hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. Eh? I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before. Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Huh? Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Well, I know that. I just meant, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her finger along the words in the poem, as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah, okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. And then it goes back to the same time. It's kind of funny, she gives the exact same advice, regardless. It kind of gives the impression that she's just sort of, you know, talking out her ass the whole time. Which she probably is. I mean, I mean, all due respect to her, there is a bit of pretentiousness in the way she presents herself. I mean, she is trying to pretend like she made that comment earlier, like oh, I knew that, like even though she didn't. There's yeah, I mean, she as insecure as she is, she does try to hold herself with a certain dignity and try to present herself in a, you know, a certain way. Yeah, anyway, moving on. Sorry, wait, what was that? I hadn't thought of that. That's impressive. Eh? It's nothing, really. Yours is impressive, too, so... Nah, if anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Tormuse. Ah, me too. And sometimes Natsuki just can't comprehend anything that Yuri writes. Yeah, I mean, Yuri uses she likes using big words, you know, like, you know, illuminates and tendrils and increments, and it's like it feels kind of gratuitous, you know, like, you know, with all due respect to Yuri, like it doesn't feel like it adds anything to the poem to be using those words. But, oh well. Anyway, let's go on to Monica. And she's going to say, oh, this is a Yuri poem. Okay, well, skip ahead to the new stuff. Great job, Tormuse. I was going ooh in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. Not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way it always counts when I put in some effort. Excuse me. Relatable. That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing is full of imagery and symbolism. Unlike Sayuri, who likes using simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness, Yuri likes it when readers are left to derive their own meaning out of it. It's very challenging to write like that effectively, both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all of the nuances. It can take years of practice, which I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. Like, this comment here, I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. It plays into the fact that Monika doesn't actually really know her club members that well. There's nothing that officially establishes the timeline, like when the club started or how long they've been working together, but like lines like this, and there's also some lines in Act 3 which indicate they really haven't spent much time together. They really don't know each other very well. Except for very superficial things. Anyway, moving on. I never really asked, though. I'm sure I'm nowhere near her level yet. Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learning by trying new things. I'm sure you'll end up trying different things. Okay, and then we can skip. Could take a while before. And there's Monika's poem. And then there's the argument. And then I'm going to save. And I'm going to pick Yuri this time. Natsuki, you're right that I liked your poem. See? Wait, that's not an excuse for you to be so mean. You shouldn't pick a fight just because someone's opinion is different. That's not what happened at all. Yuri wouldn't even take my poem seriously. I understand. Yuri... You're a seriously talented writer. It's no secret that I was impressed. Well, but here's the thing. No matter how simple or refined someone's writing style is, they're still putting feelings into it, and it becomes something really personal. That's why Natsuki felt threatened when you said her poem was cute. I see. I didn't notice that I am sorry. But Natsuki, you took it way too far. Yuri means well, and if you just told her how you felt, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. Are you kidding? That's exactly what I did. It was her that... Natsuki, I think that's enough. You both said some things that you didn't mean. Yuri apologized. Don't you think you should too? Natsuki clenches her fists. In the end, nobody has taken her side. Well, I mean, you say that, but... I mean, this is... His response was as diplomatic as it always is, as MC always is. He kind of said good things about both sides, but anyway. She's trapped, at this point being defiant only because she can't handle the pressure. I end up even feeling bad for her. Some nights when I'm hurt, it helps to take a walk and clear my head. Siri, she doesn't need to. You know what? I'm gonna do that. You'll spare me from having to look at all your faces right now. Without warning, Natsuki snatches her own poem up from the desk and storms out. On her way out, she crumbles up the poem with her hands and throws it in the trash. Aww. Trash is it's an American term. Natsuki. She really didn't need to do that. I look across the room. Yuri has her chin buried in her hands while she stares down at her desk. I gingerly approach her and sit in an adjacent chair. Everything all right? I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I acted like that. You probably hate me now. No, Yuri. How could anyone not have gotten frustrated after being treated like that? You handled it as well as anyone could. I don't think any less of you. Well, all right, I believe you. Thanks, Tormuse. You're too kind. I'm thankful to have you as part of this club now. It's nothing. One more thing. That one thing that Natsuki said about, you know, I would never do anything so shameful. Yeah, and you mentioned Storm earlier. This is what fed that little headcanon that I wrote into Storm that Yuri has body image issues, and is it, you know, like she sees her breasts as shameful, which is kind of sad. Like I think she's you know, she's ashamed of her body. As that's kind of why her, like, her sprite on the title screen, like she's like hiding herself behind her book, and she frequently like puts her hands in front of herself, like she's trying to hide herself. Anyway, moving on. So, what thing did Natsuki say? Yeah, see, she's trying to hide herself. Well, never mind that. I'm going to make some tea. Ah, good idea. Make enough for more than one person, okay? Yeah. Okay, everyone, it's just about time for us to leave. This is the same as before. I don't know why this bit doesn't let me skip. Because this is identical. And, you know, like, I've seen the script for the original the original thing. I mean, this is the Unity engine rather than RenPy. So I don't know. Maybe Dan forgot to program this bit into the skip feature. Oh well. Okay. On to another. Write another Yuri poem. Agonizing. Determination. Cage. Electricity. Contamination. Inferno. Despise. Climax. Incongruent. Portrait. Infallible. Embrace? Darn it. Okay, hold on. I want to... With Yuri, it should be easy to get the 20 words, so I just want to do that. Infinite disaster. Unstable. Intellectual. Judgment. Unrequited Sayori. Tenacious. Analysis. Existence. Cage. Frightening. Agonizing. Entropy. Yeah, I want to write a poem about entropy. Afterimage. One of her the poem that she recites in the presentation to the rest of the group is called Afterimage of a Crimson Eye. Philosophy. Yeah, it's up for both. A new philosophy tube video just got released today. It's a good one. Anyway, where was I? Heaven Sent? No, let's go Fickle. Disoriented. Landscape. Portrait. Landscape and portrait. Ambient. I mean, I am assuming that portrait is there for, you know, portrait of Markov, and then Dan threw in landscape as well, because, you know, you got your image in landscape mode or portrait mode, like depending which way you turn your phone. Anyway, contamination. And I'm gonna save it just in case something goes wrong. It's beeping twice because it's this mouse is double clicking. It's I really need a new mouse. Like for this bit, like mostly I can just you know, tap enter or spacebar to advance it, so it's not an issue. But skip. And so as well, I'm doing heavy edits on my draft, and I did notice that Yuri despised her own body. All right, here we go. Hey, Yuri. Huh? Ah. I suddenly noticed that Yuri is reading a different book from the other one we've been reading together. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. No. I was kind of just waiting for you. Ah, that's the case. Why don't we go ahead and get started? Yes, let's. Actually, I have a request. Do you mind if I make some tea first? Not at all. Thanks very much. If there's one thing that can make my reading time here any better, it's a nice cup of tea. Not to mention for yourself as well. Yuri stands up and makes her way to the closet. I follow and watch as she retrieves a small water pitcher from the shelf, the kind with a filter inside. Can you hold this for a second? Sure. Yuri hands me the water pitcher and also fetches an electric kettle. I'm going to plug us in at the teacher's desk, and then we'll go get some water. She walks past me and then sets the kettle down on the teacher's desk. Simply watch her movements. To my surprise, the way she moves really contrasts her speaking mannerisms. Especially because of her long legs, Yuri appears elegant and methodical. Okay, may I have the water pitcher? Yeah, this whole sequence, it over-explains what they're doing while they're doing really mundane things. That's what I mean, the most exciting thing that happens is like they're, describing the process of making tea. It's, which, I don't know, it also, that's not all that's happening. There is some character establishing bits in here, but anyway, I'm rambling. It's probably a little odd that I'm complaining about Yuri's Rude when she's my favorite character in the story, but oh well, moving on. Thanks, I'll be right back. I might as well walk with you. Yeah, why not? Shall we go then? Yeah. Where are you two off to? Yuri was going to make some tea, so I suddenly realized how weird it sounds to explain this to Monica. We're just filling the water pitcher. Ah, okay. Sorry, I was just a bit curious. That's kind of a one-person job, isn't it? That's... Monica, please mind your own business for once. Or do you want to tell me that there's something wrong with helping involve Tormuse in club activities? My mouth gapes. I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. Humph. And let's go, Tormuse. Yuri quickly exits the room and I follow. Once in the hallway, she suddenly puts her forehead against the wall. I spoke without thinking. How could I say something like that? Yuri. Something about the way she said that. It made me feel so irritated. What's wrong with me? No, Yuri. I think you did the right thing. I wasn't expecting it, but it's also not right for Monica to judge people like that. Tormuse, how come even when I do something bad, you're being nice to me? Because nothing that you do is as bad as you make it seem in your head. Nobody's perfect. We have emotions, we can't always hide them away. But you always amplify things in your head. Your mind turns a light rain shower into a hurricane. No, wouldn't you hate me for something as terrible as that? Why would I hate you? I can't hate someone for having emotions. What kind of friend would do that? Friend, you say? I made this, in the story, I made this a really big moment for Yuri because she isn't used to having friends. Anyway, enough about me. Yuri lifts her head. Tormuse, I really like being friends with you. Thanks, Yuri. I like being friends with you too. I feel kind of awkward saying something like that, but I'm doing my best to help Yuri feel better. Anyway, yeah. Shall we go? Yeah. Yuri and I walk to the nearest water fountain. Once we fill up the water pitcher, we return to the classroom. Tormuse, do you like oolong tea? Yeah. Anything is fine. Very well. Yuri sets the temperature on the kettle to 200 degrees. And that also shows that this is American. Because presumably that's 200 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the system that the United States uses, and like basically no one else in the world does. I mean, it's just the US likes to be different. Yeah, but everyone else uses Celsius, and 200 degrees Celsius is extremely hot. Like 100 degrees is already boiling point, so that would be like way, way above boiling point. Oh well. Anyway, moving on. Now it's time to get the teapot. You really do this properly, don't you? Of course. I shouldn't do any less when I'm making tea for others. Even if I'm not an expert in tea or anything? Hoo-hoo. In that case, you'll only be even more impressed. Yeah, perhaps I will. Yuri fetches the teapot and begins measuring the tea leaves. And so does this, and she goes home to hug her pillow afterwards, sure. Yeah. To my surprise, she even starts humming a little to herself. You must be in a good mood now. Is that so? I was letting it show, and you noticed. I was doing a bit of thinking, and I decided that I would try expressing myself a little bit more. It turns out it's not very hard for me to do. When it's you who's around anyway. Uh-oh. Yuri's getting a crush. This is also a bit of, showing her, Yuri started to get her obsessive tendencies in there. Which also, feeds a little into my headcanon that she's autistic, that she gets fixated on things, she gets special interests, autistic traits. Anyway, moving on. That's great, Yuri. Just don't push yourself too much. You're always worrying about me, Tormuse. It's very endearing. Yuri wasn't kidding. I don't even know if I can keep up with this. I watch Yuri pour a cup of tea for each of us. Tormuse, I have another request. Do you mind if we sit on the floor today? Eh? Why's that? It's a little bit easier on my back. I can read with my back against the wall rather than bending over at my desk. Fun fact, Japan uses Celsius. Yep. Yep, as does most of the world. The United States is sort of the last... the United States does a lot of things differently. Yeah, like the metric system, or failing to adopt the metric system for others is one of them. Here in Canada, we sort of get a weird mix of imperial and metric usage because of the American influence. Like ovens are still measured in Fahrenheit, whereas day-to-day temperature is measured in Celsius. Anyway, moving on. I can read my back against the wall rather than bending over at my desk. Ah, sorry, I didn't realize. No worries. I just have back pain fairly regularly, so I do my best to manage it. Is that so? I wonder why that is. It's most likely because your posture, right? There's the line that fed 1,000 memes. And from that day forward, the r/DDLC community would forever refer to Yuri's boobs as her posture. Always hunched over like that while reading? Yes, I have terrible reading posture, so that's why we should sit on the floor. Fair enough. I'll go ahead and get the book. I retrieve the book from my bag. I have some chocolate as well. Your posture is big and beautiful. Yeah, right. She actually does have pretty poor posture. Okay, well, next time she's on the screen, I'll point it out. I have some chocolate as well. It's this bag of small chocolate candies I kept hidden from Sayori's candy radar. I take it since it'll go well with the tea. Yuri and I then sit against the wall, teacups at our sides. As if in sync, we assume the same reading position as last time, each holding one half of the book. Except this time, our bodies are even closer to each other. Yeah, see, look at that, the bend in her spine there. Like, I kind of wonder if, I feel like my next mod should include a line about her having scoliosis or something, like, a lateral curve in the spine. Because that's not a natural way to stand, I guess maybe she's... Is that the artist subtly trying to, push her boobs out while also pushing her butt out more or something? I don't know. It really is weird posture, Oh well. I can't see too well. Hmm? that little dip motion's cute. Here she slides closer until her shoulders are touching. How am I supposed to focus on reading like this? Yuri is always kind of cute, but when she's being less apprehensive, it's almost more than I can handle. Your teacup. Yuri hands me my teacup. Holding it with my hand that's not holding the book, I end up in a position that makes it even harder to focus, because now I need to worry about making sure I don't accidentally touch her chest. Meanwhile, Yuri hasn't noticed a single thing. She wears her intense reading expression, and I can only presume the world around her has faded away. I use all of my willpower to focus on reading. After a few minutes, I finally managed to relax a little. I put the teacup between my legs and fumbled with the chocolate wrapper. Sorry. I briefly let go of the book to finish opening the wrapper. You can have as much as you want. That's okay. I won't take any. Eh? Are you sure? Well, if I touch it, then I might get smudges on the pages. You're right. I didn't even think about that. My bad. No need to apologize. I'll hold the book, okay? Are you sure? Of course. And we're into the next CG. Yuri opens the book with both hands. Candy radar, it's a military issue. Yeah. I need to get myself another drink. I mean, I normally drink water, but I think I got some fruit juice because I'm feeling my blood sugar crashing. So I'm just gonna do that. Excuse me. Sorry. Do this. There we go. I'll be right back. Yeah, like I'm not diabetic or anything, as far as I know, but I think I do have some like hypoglycemic issues. Sometimes, particularly with some meals that I eat, like I just start to feel lightheaded after a while. There we go. Anyway, moving right along. Yeah, just making sure this is making sure they put the "be right back" thing away. Sorry. Yuri opens the book with both hands. She holds it so that I don't have any harder of a time reading from it. But as a result, her left arm is practically resting on top of my leg. Well, in that case, Yuri's already totally focused on reading again. I take a chocolate candy and pop it into my mouth. Then I take another chocolate and I hold it up to Yuri. She doesn't even look away from the book. She simply parts her lips as if the situation was completely natural. But that means I can't stop here. I apprehensively place the chocolate in her mouth. Just like that, Yuri closed her lips over it. Yuri's expression suddenly breaks. This is an interesting thing I forgot to mention about the draft. Instead of Yuri showing any sign of affection at first, Brit MC immediately falls for her, hence the title. Huh, okay. What was the title you chose again? I need you to remind me. Anyway, that expression. Yuri's expression suddenly breaks. Did I just... Yuri looks at me like she needs to confirm what just happened. Dreamies, sorry. I guess I shouldn't have done that. That's... Well, you were just helping. That's something that friends do, right? I mean, not really in this kind of context, but yeah, that's all it was. Yeah, then you don't need to stop or anything. I see. Oh, hey, we have a newcomer. Yuri-san says Okomi Senpai? I don't know what that means. You might need to translate that for me. Yeah, we're doing Yuri-Ru today. Here, moving on. I see. The situation has gotten really tense. Yuri tries to return to the book. I can tell just by your expression that even she can't focus now. My heart is pounding. I nervously take another chocolate between my fingers, but this time Yuri's eyes meet mine. How did it even come to this? Yuri doesn't avert her gaze. I notice her chest rising and falling to the rhythm of her breaths. I raise my arm. Like before, Yuri parts her lips, but it's different this time. I take the chocolate and place it in her mouth. I feel her hot breath on my fingers. Okay, everyone. Falling for you. Oh, okay. Monica likes interrupting at inopportune moments, doesn't she? Ah, Yuri jolts back. It's time to share poems. Tormes, you can help Yuri put away the tea stuff, right? Little sly dig from Monica there. After Yuri snapped at Monica earlier about, oh, I'm just involving him in club activities, and Monica's being a little passive aggressive. Oh, you can help her put the tea stuff away, right? Anyway. Yeah, of course. Okay, thanks. The spell is abruptly broken. I'll take care of the cups. Yeah, Yuri picks up the teacups from the floor. I pick up the bag of chocolates. In the end, we hastily clean up without so much as a word between us. I get the feeling this is something neither of us will have the courage to bring up. Excuse me. Sometimes Andy can be read like a book, so his feelings for Yuri are immediately noticed. Sounds like something that might make her uncomfortable if she's like the really reserved, shy type. I don't know. Depends how you write it, I guess. Hey, Chemistry Cat's here. Yes, Yuri, friends, yeah. And this is should be the same as before, or maybe not. I love reading your poems. It's like I never know what I'm going to get. Oh, hey, she hated it. So basically you're saying it sucks? No, not at all. Maybe. Just a little? Yuri must have spoiled me a little bit with her poems. It's fine, it's fine. After all, I still have no idea what kind of writing you even like. Yeah, me neither. And we'll skip the rest of this, because the rest of that's the same. And Nazi's gonna hate the poem too. Incidentally, it's really hard to get Sayuri to hate one of your poems. Like a lot of the words, like Natsuki's and Yuri's words, give Sayuri 2 points in that 3-point system thingy. Like you have to really try to get Sayuri to hate the poem. And even then, she's still like, kind of happy-go-lucky about it. Excuse me. Anyway, I think Natsuki's about to throw a fit at us here, because this is another 20-word poem. Well, I can admit it's better than the last one. It's nice to see that you're putting in some effort. That's good. But I still don't like this at all. It's trying too hard to be serious. What do you mean by that? Poems don't need to be all deep-sounding to express something. It's going to just sound like you're forcing it, unless you really don't suck at it. Honestly, don't bother trying to write poems like this until you're on Yuri's level. Natsuki stops short all of a sudden. The fact that Natsuki says this is interesting, incidentally. It does show that she does have some respect for the quality of Yuri's writing, despite her complaints during the argument the previous day. Even teased about by the other climbers, more notably Natsuki? No, because I pick the time every time. Anyway, moving on. Natsuki stops short all of a sudden. Don't tell me. Huh? You're not just trying to impress Yuri, are you? What are you talking about? Keep your voice down. Yuri would love this angsty. Just because she's a talented writer doesn't mean, Yeah, it's funny. Even though Natsuki just complimented Yuri, she gets upset when other people compliment Yuri. Looks like I'm in trouble. I somehow struck a nerve, though what I did is beyond me. I am so done with you. Natsuki shoves the poem I handed her back over to me. Take your stupid poem. If you wrote it for someone else, just don't show it to me. Ouch. This is what I get for letting a younger girl step into my business. Unless I was a mind reader, I was destined to be in a world of pain from the start. At least Natsuki wasn't really the girl I was trying to impress in the first place. Yeah, that wasn't the girl I was trying to impress in the first place. Once again, his internal monologue is different from what he says outwardly. Like he's still trying to present himself diplomatically, and oh, I'm not doing this because I have feelings with him or anything, and you're just being friends. Diablo's here. Hey, welcome. Yeah, that's impressive. It's not easy to write a poem that Sari hates. Yeah, exactly. Does anybody know how to get a special ending? If you mean the good ending, the good ending for the original DDLC, you just have to get all of the CGs in one playthrough, which means you have to do some reloading. You have to reload at least once in Act 1. I'm going for that this time. If there's a special ending in DDLC Plus, I don't know about it, but I'm hoping to 100% this. So we'll see. I have to try to unlock all the poems and stuff. Excuse me. Cancer Cat says it's so hard to make Sari hate a poem since so few words give only 1 point, and they're almost all Yuri words. There you go. And now Yuri. Let's see what you've written for today. ... Yuri stares at the poem with a surprised expression on her face. Do you like it? Tormuse, this one might be even better than yesterday's. How'd you even pick up on this so quickly? Just yesterday, I was telling you the kinds of techniques worth practicing. Maybe that's why. You did a good job explaining. I really wanted to try giving it more imagery. Yuri visibly swallows. Even her hands appear sweaty. I'm not used to this. Used to what? I don't know. It's fine, take your time. Yuri breathes and collects her thoughts. I know that Yuri likes to think before she speaks, so I offer that patience to her. Yeah, just being appreciated like this, I guess. It probably sounds really stupid. Oh, hey, another newcomer. Tiani Yulong. You have to get all the CGs in one run. Welcome to the stream. Cool. Moving on. Probably sounds really stupid. So you need 3 games. No, you don't need to play 3 games. You just you play it in one playthrough, but you reload to get the other routes. You just reload your save game. You have to reload your save game before you get to Act 2. That's the key thing, so that you get all the CGs. Anyway, moving on. But seeing someone motivated by my writing, it just makes me really happy. Are you saying you've never shared your writing before? Yuri nods. Really? Don't believe it. I really only write for myself. And besides, people would just laugh at me. Do you really think that? Again, Yuri nods. Huh. Even your close friends? And then there's that long pause which hints that, no, Yuri doesn't have any friends. Long says, yeah, you need to save and load it a lot in Act 1. Yep, exactly. Special ending is getting all Act 1 CGs before moving on to Act 2. Skip button is very useful for this, indeed. Moving on, Yuri doesn't respond to that. I wonder why. Anyway, do you want to share the poem you wrote today? Yeah, I do. If it's with you. And then there's the raccoon. Did I... Oh yeah, I actually... I don't think I've read this one before in this playthrough, because in the last 2 runs, like going for Sayori and going for Natsuki, Yuri's quick to give up and stop sharing poem. Anyway, here we go. The raccoon. It happened in the dead of night while I was slicing bread for a guilty snack. My attention was caught by the scuttering of a raccoon outside my window. That was, I believe, the first time I noticed my strange tendencies as an unordinary human. I gave the raccoon a piece of bread, my subconscious well aware of the consequences, well aware that a raccoon that is fed will always come back for more. The enticing beauty of my cutting knife was a symptom, the bread, my hungry curiosity. The raccoon, an urge. The moon increments its phase. there you go, just gratuitously using a big word there. The moon increments its phase and reflects that much more light off my cutting knife, the very same light that glistens in the eyes of my raccoon friend. I slice the bread, fresh and soft, The raccoon becomes excited. Perhaps I'm merely projecting my emotions onto the newly satisfied animal. The raccoon has taken to following me. You could say that we've gotten quite used to each other. The raccoon becomes hungry more and more frequently, so my bread is always handy. Every time I brandish my cutting knife, the raccoon shows its excitement. A rush of blood. Classic Pavlovian conditioning. I slice the bread, and I feed myself again. And this, sort of feeds into the theory of she's talking about her cutting habit, her self-harm habit. The raccoon being, the raccoon and urge, the raccoon representing her urge to harm herself. It's sort of, and again, like this, I've said it before. I'll say it again. There are a lot of possible motivations for self-harm. In real life, this sort of plays into the idea that she's doing it out of curiosity. The bread, my hungry curiosity. I've already said plenty about that in previous episodes, but I really feel like DDLC doesn't do the best representation of self-harm. That's my opinion. but yeah. But I did in my own mod. In Storm, I played into the idea of she chose a raccoon because they're considered pests, or at least here in Canada, here in Toronto, raccoons are kind of pests. They knock the garbage cans over. The new garbage cans have like lockable lids so that doesn't happen, but they really like to make a mess. So yeah, funny story. Random aside, I went to some years ago. I went to Hungary and visited a local zoo there, and I found it very amusing that there's a raccoon. There were raccoons in the zoo, like as an exhibit. It's just kind of funny to me because, like in Toronto where I live, they're kind of everywhere. I mean, not everywhere, but it's not like you see them every day. But they're kind of a nuisance rather than something to admire. I mean, they're still cute, but anyway. There's stuff going on in chat here. Remember to listen to manga for at least a little while during activity reportedly. Yeah, I tend to do that. I believe that's a requirement. Yeah, I believe so. Leave manga ASAP and recall the tree. Oh, okay. Chase when people come and scary. Do I detect a hint of jealousy? Yeah. That's that. That's my headcanon. I mean, I do believe Natsuki feels a certain kind of affection for Yuri, but I don't know. She has trouble expressing it, just like she has trouble expressing everything. She always has to be on the defensive about everything, and she just generally has a lot of trouble being honest about things in general, really. Anyway, it's pretty hard to 100% because you have to figure it a lot on your own. Oh well, we'll see. Moving on. I was a little more daring with this one than yesterday's. I can see that. It's a lot more metaphorical. I don't know if it's my fault, but I can't begin to imagine what this poem's about. That's right. It's a bit closer to my preferred writing style, using the poem as a canvas to express vivid imagery and conveying emotions through them. Yeah, if I take it at face value, then I can't even figure out what it's supposed to mean. Well, I think it's something that different people can relate to in their own way. I want to express the way it feels for me to indulge in my more unusual hobbies. It's those sorts of things I'm usually forced to keep to myself, so I sometimes enjoy writing about them. Why do you keep them to yourself? Because they're embarrassing, and people would make fun of me. Don't you have anything like that, Tormuse? Well, yeah, I guess I do. I feel like everyone has a little something like that. The best we can do is respect each other and our individualities, even if it's difficult sometimes and some things make us uncomfortable. Oh, hey. Long says, I really enjoyed True Literature Club. Oh, thank you. That's my first mod that I made. I made that like 3 years ago. Wow. Yep. That came out in like, what? Was it March of 2018? Anyway. Moving on. After all, if I hadn't learned to embrace my own weirdness, I would probably hate myself. I might be ranting a little bit now, but I'm glad you're a good listener. You're good at a lot of things. Writing, listening. There really aren't many people like you, Tormuse. But that's exaggerating a little bit. It's just how I feel. I never thought I would feel so comfortable sharing my writing, but now I almost feel like I look forward to it. It's just a really nice feeling. And you're to thank for that. It's nothing, really. Yuri smiles sincerely at me. For just a moment, her timidness seems to disappear. And Monica. Hi again, Tormuse, guys. Skip up to the new stuff. And this one's good. It feels like you're not only getting more comfortable with your style, but the imagery is better than the last one I read. Just wondering, but have you been finding inspiration in Yuri's writing style? I guess so. You can't deny that she's talented. Yeah, totally. I think her poems are the most romantic. That's the best way to describe it. She's like a totally different person when she picks up a pen. I noticed that too. Or when she's talking about literature, it's like a light turns on inside her. Sadly, it's hard to get much personal conversation out of her. Alexis, I don't think it works in canon DDLC, but Autistic Yuri is nice to see. Yeah. We'll have to agree to disagree there. I think it works in canon DDLC. This is my personal opinion. Anyway. Sadly, it's hard to get much personal conversation out of her. Trust me, I've tried. Who knows what goes on that head of hers? This is an interesting. This comment here. Trust me, I've tried. Like, it kind of makes me curious about what Monica's first attempts to get conversation out of Yuri were like. What would they talk about? Who knows what goes on in that head of hers? I hope you don't mean that in a bad way. No, of course not. I just meant that I wish she didn't keep so much to herself. But still, defending her like that, you must be pretty into her. Eh? You completely misunderstood. I'm not capable of outwardly expressing interest in someone. Everything I say has to be diplomatic. Anyway. Calm down, I'm kidding. Besides, I'm pretty sure she's already got a boyfriend. Wait, really? Yeah, a fictional one anyway. Monica kind of whispers that last part to me. It's just a hunch, but, well, there's not really anything wrong with that. Is this foreshadowing? Because, foreshadowing Monica's turn in Act 3, wanting to be the girlfriend of the player in the real world. Cat says, anyone else feel that Sayori's route is the most fulfilling from a story perspective? It makes it so Yuri and Natsuki get to Right Beach. Shows Moni Seo's friendship more, which are pivotal to Act 1. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Well, there's not really anything wrong with that. Oh, well, I know. I was just saying. But anyway, you want to read my poem now? Okay, the rest of this is Skippy. Huh? I pushed out. I think that's my mouse acting up. It's double clicking. And this is them presenting the presenting their poem. Oh yeah, this is, like I said before, this is the bit which even Dan doesn't like. Okay, so save, because there's a new choice. And I'm going to go with Yuri this time. Just keep that theme. Walking home with Yuri, huh? Why does the thought of that make my heart pound? I mean, given how hard it is for her to socialize, I would feel awful turning her down, so... Isn't she beautiful and smart? That has nothing to do with what I just said. Haha, you admitted it. And now it's back to skip. Yeah, that line, isn't she beautiful and smart, referring to Yuri. If you pick Natsuki, she says, isn't she fun, fun to be, or I think she says cute and fun to be around, something like that. But the rest is the same. It's just one line difference. Okay, one more Yuri poem to go. And we're getting very close to being into Act 2, because I already did Yuri's weekend scene, so there's very little left. And what have we here? Let's see, that guy that buys like pounds of hot dogs for them? For the raccoons? He's kind of could be a code mechanism like drinking or smoking. Well, I mean, yeah. It's a self-destructive coping mechanism. I mean, like all of those are coping mechanisms. Like everyone has their own ways of coping with difficulties in their life. Some are more constructive or destructive. It depends on a lot of things. Like, yeah, like cutting yourself it's one of the more destructive ones. It's not a healthy habit. Better to find other coping mechanisms. I have seen some people suggest like who are prone to self-harm, like engaging in like writing on themselves, like drawing on themselves, just so you get that sort of tactile physical stimulation that without actually causing harm, and then you can just like wash it off afterward. Anyway, I need to get some more water. I'll be right back. I'm gonna just click on this and then that. There we go. I'll be right back. Okay, just had to use the washroom while I was at it. Hopefully there won't be any more interruptions. I always like that Tisagiri Headcanon even more so after side stories. Look up mobbed by raccoons? It's really known why she considered or how she starts or anything goes. Yeah, anyway, moving on. Alright, let's do a Yuri poem now. Tenacious, unrestrained, incongruent. Whirlwind? Extraordinary. Ah, darn it. Necessary. Hold on. I don't know if it makes a difference if you get, I kind of want to, I think raindrops? Yeah. Disown. I want to find out if there's death. Oh, darn it. I want to see if there is an achievement for getting 3 20-word Yuri poems. Insight, despise, disaster, vivacious, essence, afterimage, whirlwind, eternity, portrait. I think suicide, yes. Inferno, massacre, horror, infinite. I think misfortune is a Sayori word. Oh dear. Don't think any of these are Yuri words. I'm gonna try misfortune, but yeah, I knew it. I knew it was Sayori. Okay, hold on. I can do this. This should be the easy one. Perfect. Sorry, let's go. Yeah, I got one of those already. Effulgent, vitality, infallible, graveyard, intellectual, disaster, uncanny, unrestrained, fickle. See, there are lots of Yuri words. Like, this should not be too difficult. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. You're not giving me any Yuri words here. Incongruent, eternity, vertigo, afterimage, analysis, unending, contamination. I think scars and death are both Sayori words. Okay, it's work with me here. Crimson eye, yeah. What's going on here? What's with the lack of Yuri words lately? Sorry, I thought this was going to be a quick thing. I don't even know if this actually does anything. I'm just really curious. I deliberately saved it for like, I gave up on trying to get 3 perfect poems for Sayori and Natsuki. Maybe I'll come back to doing that if probably do it like off camera if it turns out that that's a thing. Sensation, disown, massacre, portrait, afterimage, ambient, imagination, uncontrollable. And Della says, yeah, it's kind of weird that not only is extraordinary a Sayori word, it's even still more points for Natsuki than it is for Yuri. Huh, interesting. Aura? Yeah. Entropy. Let's write a poem about entropy. Existence. Landscape. Agonizing. Cage. There we go. No achievement? Nothing? Nothing special happened? Oh well. Ooh, really am going to run out of save game slots. Wonder why they reduced the number of slots. And Sari's doing her thing, she's all depressed. And then one more scene with Yuri. 2% chance on any given set, yeah. Natsuki's best and most giving points words. Well, I mean, any word that makes her chibi jump gives her 3 points. Cute words and food words, yeah, pretty much. And why does it feel like I'm being watched? I glance around the room. Suddenly I notice Yuri peering at me from over her book, but she looks away just as quickly with a flustered look on her face. I realize that she won't get anywhere like this. I've never really seen Yuri approach anyone or start a conversation on her own accord, so I have no choice but to approach her myself. By now, it's a little easier for me to do that. I stand up from my desk and sit in one next to her own. I didn't mean to bother you or anything. Relax, you didn't even do anything. But I could tell that you wanted to be alone with your thoughts. Alone with my thoughts? How are you even able to tell what I was thinking like that? Well, it's something that I do a lot, so it wasn't hard for me to spot based on your posture and expression. Not that I was staring or anything. I didn't do anything creepy like that. In any case, I guess you were right. I'm sorry if I caused you any concern. Don't apologize. Your troubles are only the concern of those who willingly share in that concern. Of course, there are certainly those who would find the most comfort in keeping to themselves, but if you would prefer to share what's on your mind, then I would be glad to listen. That's Yuri's roundabout way of saying, you can talk to me if you want. And Natsuki also kind of had a bit of a roundabout way of saying that in her route. Anyway, moving on. It's really not that big of a deal. I was just feeling a bit uneasy about Sayori. Sayori? Yeah, she seems a little off today, but when I asked her about it, she didn't want to admit it to me. So I can't help but wonder if something happened to her. Oh? That's quite romantic. Eh? Sorry, I didn't mean to say something stupid. It's not that, I just didn't want you to misunderstand. Sayori and I have just been friends for a long time, that's all. Ah, I see. Then perhaps it is unusual for her to be dismissive to you about her feelings. Or maybe I'm just reading it into it a little too much. Toimuse, the world is full of meaning, often hidden deep beneath plain sight. And there are many untold mysteries behind every person, no matter how well you may know them. Ah, so you think that there might be something behind it after all? I think that Sayori is a very complex person. Her mannerisms on the outside don't always match what may be going on inside her head, and she may not always know what she wants. I noticed her strange behavior today too, and I also feel some concern for her. But in your case, it looked like she was fully occupying your thoughts, wasn't she? And Dell says, yeah, Yuri has many more words overall than Natsuki. There are a lot more trick words that you think might be Yuri words, but are actually for Sayori. That's true. Yeah, I think there are like actually fewer Natsuki words than like overall than Sayori. Like if you look at the achievement list, if Steam will load up for me here, I don't know, my process is really slow. It's really struggles to stream and display the game at the same time. So trying to bring up something. Okay, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to minimize that again. But yeah. Anyway, like looking at the ratios of for people for how many you've got the perfect Sayori achievement or the perfect Natsuki achievement or the perfect Yuri achievement. Natsuki consistently gets the lowest out of that score. I think is simply from sheer not having as many words as anyone else. Anyway, moving on. Well, I guess that was the case. Suri, she really means a lot to you, doesn't she? I guess, but you don't need to put it that way. We're just good friends, that's all. Yuri suddenly looks deeply into my eyes. Her expression is gentle and curious, as if she was searching for something. Embarrassed, I avert my gaze. Sometimes, a person's mysteries are untold even to themselves. Sorry, I need to move my windows here a second. Here you go. And you, as someone honest and caring, may uncover feelings you weren't aware were in you. That is, I think that she would be a very fortunate person to have you feel that way about her. Yuri, you're giving me too much credit. I'm a pretty simple guy, so I think I'm pretty good at understanding my own feelings. I'm not nearly as sophisticated as you. That's not a compliment, is it? It is what it is. Anyway, as long as we're here, why don't we do some reading? Well, as long as you're okay with it. Yeah. I should be taking my mind off this whole thing anyway. And back into the stuff we read before. We argued that the reason why Sari had the most words is because MC knows her well, and like the other goes, yeah. There's possible headcanon-y reason for that, yeah. And skipping ahead. And save again. I'm gonna save over this one because otherwise I'm gonna run out of slots. You'll need the special poems to finish the game. Yay! And Sarah's gonna be all depressed. Skippy. This is all the same as when we did Natsuki, and Natsuki is gonna be different. She's gonna be pissed. Yeah, no thanks. You didn't even... Next. And here's where Yuri shows her special poem. Toymuse, your writing has only improved in these last few days. Every poem you've shown me has been nothing short of spectacular. I can really feel the emotions. I'm a little envious even. I don't think it ever came to me this naturally. Yuri, that's the wrong way to put it. This never did come naturally to me, but I've been able to improve so much thanks to you. You're really the example I was chasing after. Is that so? Yuri gently smiles to herself. This feeling, I'm so glad I got the chance to share my writing. I never thought it would feel like this. That little blushing smile. Aw. I remember you mentioning that yesterday. I can't believe that you're so good at something and you've never even shared it with anyone. It's kind of a shame. Maybe, but it's not like I really had a choice. What do you mean? Well, Yuri smiles sadly. Toymuse, during lunchtime I eat by myself. Did you know that? It's a great time to find a quiet spot and do some reading. In fact, I always have some books with me. You could say I really enjoy reading. Well, that's one way to put it anyway, but books are so full of amazing and inspiring people. People you want to fall in love with, or people you just know would make a really good friend. Cheerful people who always put a smile on your face, or deep thinkers and problem solvers who discover the mysteries of life. So when you look at it that way, I'm surrounded by friends every day, you know? And those friends don't laugh at me. They don't tease me for spacing out all the time. They don't make fun of my body type, and they don't hate me for acting like a know-it-all. People say that about you? I'm not a know-it-all, Toymuse. It's the opposite. I don't know anything. I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know how to make people see me as normal. I don't even know how to make myself happy. I have all these feelings, and all I can do with them is read and write. But it wasn't until now that I started sharing it with you that I really understood what was missing all this time. But I haven't really done anything. No, that's wrong. Just being patient and respectful. That's really important to me. I know I'm a difficult person, Toymuse. I speak too slowly. I second-guess myself all the time. I read too deeply into things. But every time, you've always treated me just like anyone else. It's so rare that I feel comfortable with myself when I talk to others. But that's why every time I talk to you, I just feel really happy. I see. Well, I treat you how you deserve to be treated, Yuri. And if other people don't see it that way, then screw them. I mean, I joined this club hoping I would make friends, and I would say I've had at least one success. Wouldn't you? He's outwardly saying friends again. If you put it that way, yeah, we really are friends now, aren't we? Yuri puts her head in her hands, but this time she's smiling as she does it. Do you want to show me your poem? Yeah, I do. Let me get it for you. Here we go. It's funny that the music transition was different this time because it wasn't play. Normally it smoothly transitions into the girls' version of the "Okay Everyone" song, but this time it wasn't playing that song because it's playing the "My Feelings" song. Anyway, it goes into the light part 2. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow, bathing. In the distance, a blue-green light flickers. A lone figure crosses its path, a silhouette obstructing the eerie glow. My heart pounds. The silhouette grows. Closer, closer. I open my umbrella, casting a shadow to shield me from visibility, but I'm too late. He steps into the streetlight. I gasp and drop my umbrella. The light flickers. My heart pounds. He raises his arm. Time stops. The only indication of movement is the amber light flickering against his outstretched arm. The flickering light is in rhythm with the pounding of my heart, teasing me for succumbing to this forbidden emotion. Have you ever heard of a ghost feeling warmth before? Giving up on understanding, I laugh. Understanding is overrated. I touch his hand. The flickering stops. Ghosts are blue-green. My heart is amber. It's her metaphorical approach to her feelings for MC, I guess. Somebody said that the blue-green could refer to Monica, or Psionica, I guess. Their blue and green eyes, respectively. Anyway, moving on. Finishing the poem, I start to hand it back to Yuri, but instead of taking it from me, she looks away. Do you dislike it? No, of course not. I just don't really know how I should respond. Despite Yuri's poems usually being cryptic, it wasn't hard to figure out what this one is about. I don't know if I'll be able to explain this one. That's fine. I understand this one. Yuri's having an even harder time speaking than usual. Does this one mean a lot to you? Yuri nods. I'm not really good with words, but I'm happy that you shared it with me. So, thank you. And I hope we can keep spending time together. Despite my inability to make eye contact, I see a faint smile emerge on Yuri's lips. I once again try to hand the poem back to her, but instead, Yuri gently takes my hand and pushes them back toward me. Hand-holding. I hesitate in response to her warm touch. You can, the poem is... Once again, Yuri fails to form a complete sentence. You mean I can keep it? Yuri nods. I'd love to. Again, Yuri faintly smiles as if she doesn't want me to notice. You always make me feel nice. I know I'm not good with people, but I hope that I can return the favor sometimes. Yeah, don't worry. I think you do a good job. Yuri finally turns back toward me. I guess we should move on before Monica says something, but I'm sure we can talk again later. Yeah, I'm sure we will. With that, Yuri timidly smiles at me and I return to my seat so I can put her poem away. And on to Monica. Heart is amber, possible symbolism for loving MC. Yeah, possibly. And just skip that. Your style's gotten so refined, Toy Muse. Yuri's been teaching you a lot of things, hasn't she? Well, I guess so. Yeah, I've been noticing how much time you spend with her. I think I've heard her say more words these past couple of days than she's talked in the whole year. Not sure how you did it, but that's pretty impressive. Oh, hey, here you go. In the whole year. So the club's been around for the whole year then, however long the part of the year has been so far, I guess. I mean, I guess it depends on when the festival takes place. Is the festival, is it in the middle of the year, or is it at the end of the year? I don't know. I don't actually know. Something to look up, maybe. But that there is an indicator of how long the club's been in existence. Anyway, all right. I mean, or at least within the context of the original story, if there was an original story, setting aside all the meta aspects of it. Yeah, I mean, in actuality, never mind. Moving on. Well, she just needs some patience and a way to talk about all the things in her head, I guess. I'm still getting the hang of it myself. He used the H word. You're certainly putting in a lot of effort. You must really like her. That's... It's awfully suspicious, you know. Spending time with her in the club room every day, reading that edgy novel with her. Well, I just feel bad that she has a hard time socializing. Makes me want to make sure she doesn't spend all of her time alone. Besides, the novel isn't too bad either, you know. All right, I get you. And again, he has to rationalize everything and make it sound like, oh, no, really, we're just friends. He can't outwardly express how he feels because it's just MC. I know I keep harping on it. It's just MC continuing to be a non-character and trying to be neutral about everything, like absolutely everything. That's why I say he's a boring character. He can't be forthcoming about anything. I get you. Just be careful, all right? I know that Yuri isn't used to opening herself up, so if something bad happens while she's vulnerable, then it could be really hard for her. Her books aren't a total escape from reality. They're just a bandage. Ooh. That's interesting. Choice of words there. This is Japan started around November or something. Okay, so like partway through. So it might be that they've only been at the club has been only existed for a few months. Anyway, moving on. You say that like I'm going to hurt her. Sorry, I didn't really mean that. If anything, she might accidentally hurt herself. Dun dun dun. Accidentally or on purpose. Anyway, I'll share my poem with you now, alright? Yeah, this is curious. Monica says like the same thing about Natsuki and Yuri, that be careful, they might get hurt, it might affect the club, blah blah blah. This is such ominous warnings, but anyway. Skippy. More skippy. Then we get to the choice, I'm gonna save. And I actually need to reload because I haven't gotten Yuri's other poem before. I haven't gotten Yuri's beach poem before, and if I'm trying to 100% this, I do need to I need to get her poem. So I need to reload the poem, and it doesn't matter what words I choose, like just as long as I don't get Yuri. So just and then just fill them out with Sayori words. What's it? Achievement unlocked, any % WR attempts? What? I don't even know what that means. Write a poem in 20 seconds or less. Okay, that's funny. Anyway. I'm just gonna skip ahead just so I can see the poem. Oh wait, did I accidentally draw Yuri again? Okay, no, this is different this time, okay. Decide to try something different today? I guess so. Is that good or bad? Well, neither. I have my preferences, but it would be unfair of me to call something good or bad based on that. As always, I believe what's most important is exploring and discovering yourself. But yeah, it's interestingly, it still shows the scene between Yuri and MC. Sorry, she means a lot to you, doesn't she, and so on. Even if you don't actually draw Yuri for the third poem, it's based on whoever you got for the first two poems. Anyway, as always, I believe what's most important is exploring and discovering yourself. That's comforting. Kind of afraid of disappointing you in some way or another. Eh? Why me? Well, you're always sophisticated with your writing and have the most advice to share. Is that so? Yuri thinks for a good minute. Of course, Dan do it as a speedrunner. yeah, that's funny. Yeah, speedrunning is kind of Dan's thing. That must be terrible. Eh? For me to have become someone whose opinion is fearsome. How unlikable of me. Yuri, it's not as bad as you're making it sound in your head. I just meant that I respect your opinion. I see. I'm sorry that I always overthink and come to those sorts of conclusions. But yeah, I've noticed people actually have a tough time getting Yuri's beach poem because they either are on her route or they're not, and they make her upset so she doesn't share poems. Yeah, Yuri is easily, like, she's the easiest one to upset and not, make her not want to show a poem. Oh well. I'm just a little too used to it. Overthinking? Being disliked? Yuri. What am I saying? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up. Let's move on. Alright. Do you want to share your poem now? Okay. Here. Beach. Considering that she would have had to have written her Ghost Under the Light Part 2 poem ahead of time, does this mean she wrote it and then as soon as she saw MC's poem she changed her mind? And she's like, oh, I don't actually like him after all. You get the beach poem. And Debo says, yeah, also Yuri tends to be the default winner in ties, or she was in the Renpai version at least. Really? I thought it was Sayori that's the default winner. I mean, Sayori is definitely the default winner. If you look in the definitions.rpy file. No, I'm sure it's Sayori. I'm sure Sayori is the default. I'll have to look at the code again. But anyway, here we go. Beach, a marvel, millions of years in the making, where the womb of Earth chaotically meets the surface. Under a clear blue sky, an expanse of bliss, but beneath gray rolling clouds, an endless enigma. The easiest world to get lost in is one where everything can be found. One can only build a sandcastle where the sand is wet. But where the sand is wet, the tide comes. Will it gently lick at your foundations until you give in? Or will a sudden wave send you crashing down in the blink of an eye? Either way, the outcome is the same. Yet we still build sandcastles. I stand where the foam wraps around my ankles, where my toes squish into the sand. The salty air is therapeutic. The breeze is gentle, yet powerful. I sink my toes into the ultimate boundary line, tempted by the foamy tendrils. Turn back and I abandon my piece to a road at the shore, drift forward, and I return to Earth forevermore. I don't know if there's much in the way of meaning to be gleaned from this in terms of Yuri's character. I did see someone who had a take on this that talk of returning to Earth forevermore made it sound like she was talking about death, but I don't know. I don't know. It sort of comes across like she's just talking about the experience of the beach, but in very dramatic tones. Anyway, moving on. I'm aware that the beach is kind of an inane thing to write about, but I did my best to take a metaphorical approach to it. You say that like you didn't even want to write about it. Oh, you haven't heard? After yesterday, Natsuki and I, well, it was amusing that we wrote about something similar in such different ways, so Natsuki wanted us to write about the same topic as each other again. I suppose to better compare the differences in our writing styles or thought processes. Anyway, it was her idea. Yeah, and Natsuki's rude. She insists that it was Yuri's idea. Funnily enough. Knowing her, it's no surprise that she'd want to do something like that. She probably just wants to show off. It's not like I have a particular interest in her writing style. I just went with her request. Oh, now Yuri's being a little Syndra there. It's not like I like her anyway. Anyway. The beach ones that Yuri and Natsuki sounds like they're trying to bond each other. Well, exactly. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing. I mean, they both agreed to write about the beach to compare their writing styles because because they ended up writing the same theme in as their second poem. You know, Natsuki's Amy Likes Spiders and Yuri's The Raccoon, both writing about habits or hobbies that are unpopular and being judged for them. And yeah, like it's even though they're like sort of secondary characters to other stuff going on, you can tell they have their own arc, their own they've got their own stuff going on. Anyway, moving on. But, well, I suppose it's not so bad to write about something simple on occasion. It can be refreshing, you know? It's good for me to calm my thoughts once in a while. Yeah, I think I agree. Thanks for sharing. Okay, now that that's done, that's all of the Act 1 poems, so I'm just going to reload this again. And I'm going to choose Yuri, and I'm just going to go skippy. Oh, it's not skipping. Me? Are you serious? This is the same. This is the same text as before. This is identical. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know if is that an error? Did I'll just put it on auto for a bit. I mean, did Dan just miss some spots in terms of like which what's this? Mythos. This quirk with the sorting algorithm means that unfortunately Sayori can never win a tie because Natsuki or Yuri will always be further down in the list. The standard order is Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri. Okay. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I mean, the way the poem minigame operates is a bit of spaghetti code. Like, I've heard that even Dan has difficulty sorting it out. Like, he did make some errors in the earlier versions, and he had to go back and correct it for version 1.1.1. Yeah, there were some anomalies in there. Anyway, let's just zip through this because this should all be the same as before. Wait, what happened? I was busy researching poem game stuff. Oh, you didn't miss much, I don't think. I mean, it was just oh, it's letting me skip again. See, now this, I don't know how it's deciding when the skip button should be there. What it's allowing me to skip. Should be able to just zip right through all of this. Yeah, I just picked up all the other poems. Picked up Yuri's beach poem as well as her special poem. And I've already chosen both options in the previous sessions, so kind of doesn't matter which which one I choose. I mean, just for the sake of sticking with the Yuri theme, I guess I'll go with "He'll Always Be My Dearest Friend." Maybe that's just mean. Maybe. I mean, that's what I chose the first time I played the game. The first time I played the game, I went for the Yuri route and just went Yuri all the way. And like, even though I could see that, excuse me. Even though I could see, Dan pulling the strings from behind the scenes, that it doesn't matter that Sayori's going to kill herself either way. I think I'd go with stick to my guns and pick the dearest friend line. Anyway, all right, here we are going into Act 2. It's the day of the festival. Of all days, I expected this to be the one where I'd be walking to school with Sayori. But Sayori isn't answering her phone. I considered going to her house to wake her up, but decide that's a little too much. Like, this is what gets me. Like, I know I keep saying this, but like, the only thing Sayori asked him to do was to make sure things are the same as before. Like, he couldn't do the only thing. He insists he's going to do everything he can to make sure she's not sad anymore, to take away all her pain. He gives all these overtures about, I'm your friend, I'm going to do all this for you, I'll be by your side, I'll support you, blah 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 blah. She only asked him to do one thing, and that was to have things go back to the way that they were before, and he didn't do that. He says he gives all these overtures of how great he's gonna make things for her, and then he doesn't do anything. Which again reinforces the fact that, dude, like, you should have gotten her some professional help. You're not, if you're not going to do anything, like, that's extra reason to give her professional help. So I don't know. And basically, MC just pisses me off. Anyway, so you have media plus DDLC alone this time. Yeah, as long as you get the Hug CG once. Yeah, I got the Hug CG before, so yeah. Anyway. Meanwhile, the preparations for the event should be nearly complete. The banner Yuri and I painted is dry, and I gently rolled it up to take with me. She sent me a pleasant text reminding me not to forget anything, and I reassured her. Funnily enough, I probably feel the same as Natsuki about the event. I'm more excited for it to be over so I can spend time with Sayori and Yuri at the festival. But knowing Monica, I'm sure the event will be great too. Yeah, there's no music. This is where the game really conditions you to expect something is going to happen whenever the music stops. Anyway, Diablo says, I think in theory you can get the good ending with only one reload to the Sayori. Yes, yeah, my thoughts exactly. Do the Sayori route, visit Yuri in the weekend, get Sayori Hug CG, reload, do Natsuki route, and then get Yuri CDs in Act 2. Exactly, you got it. Anyway, but knowing Monica, I'm sure the event will be great too. Great too. To our muse, you're the first one here. Thanks for being early. That's funny, I thought at least Yuri would be here by now. Monica's placing little booklets on each of the desks in the classroom. They must be the ones she prepared that have all the poems we're performing. In the end, I found a random poem online that I thought Monica would like and submitted it. So that's the one I'll be performing. I'm surprised you didn't bring Sayori with you. Yeah, she overslept again. That dummy. He's just being such a jerk. Even after all that, like, I mean, you think on days it's important she'd try a little harder. I say that, but I suddenly remember what Sayori told me yesterday. Like it actually, like, he suddenly remembered, like, he actually did completely forget about Sayori's depression talk. Like, it just wasn't in his head at all. Like, all that overture about I'll do everything I can for you meant absolutely nothing to him. Like, he was just completely talking out of his ass the whole time. Because you have to get the CDs during Act 1, I'm 99% sure. Well, for the Yuri ones, the Yuri CGs you can get in Act 2. Anyway. remember what Siri told me yesterday, and I suddenly feel awful knowing it's not nearly that simple for her. I only said it because it's the way I'm used to thinking, but maybe I should have gone to wake her up after all. You should take a little responsibility for her, Tormuse. I mean, especially after your exchange with her yesterday. You kind of left her hanging this morning, you know? Shh. Left her hanging. Yes, very funny, Monica. Exchange? Monica, you know about that? Of course I do. I'm the club president, after all. Yeah, and this plays into that whole notion that somehow being the president is what gives her access to the code or whatever. There's some issues with that theory, but yeah, moving on. I'll talk about that later. But I stammer, embarrassed. Did Siri really tell her about that quickly? About how he basically turned down her confession? That makes me really seem like the bad guy here. You... That's because you are, MC. Well, no, I'm being mean. I mean, he's being neglectful. I mean, but, you know, sometimes being neglectful is worse than just being, you know, outright cruel. You know, if you pretend to be nice but actually don't care, I mean, it's... Oh, well. Anyway, moving on. But I'm the one who knows what's best for her, right? Jeez, you don't know the full story at all, so don't worry. I probably know a lot more than you think. Eh? Naga's being as friendly as usual, but for some reason I felt a chill down my spine after hearing that. It's more ominous foreshadowing. Hey, do you want to check out the pamphlets? They came out really nice. Yeah, sure. I grabbed one of the pamphlets laid out on the desks. Oh yeah, they really did. Something like this will definitely help people take the club more seriously. Yeah, I thought so too. I flipped to the pages. Each member's poem is neatly printed on its own page, giving it an almost professional feel. I recognized Natsuki's and Yuri's poems from the ones they performed during our practice. What's this? I flipped to Sayori's poem. It's different from the one she practiced. It's one that I haven't read before. Get out of my head, get out of my head, get out of my head. This has always been interesting to me. The title of the poem is Percent. And it's a percent sign. I'm not sure what that means. But in the ARG stuff, like the Project Libitina, it is full of percent signs. And I kind of wonder if that has... I wonder if it has some kind of significance to, to Dan's intended future project. I don't know. We may never know. I mean, that was supposed to come out in 2018, but anyway, get out of my head, get out of my head, get out of my head. Lots of get out of my head. Get out of my head. Get out of my head before I do what I know is best for you. Get out of my head before I listen to everything she said to me. Get out of my head before I show you how much I love you. Get out of my head before I finish writing this poem. But a poem is never actually finished. It just stops moving. So this is... I mean, obviously... Monica's just kind of breaking Sari's brain here. Just plunging her more thoroughly into despair. You kind of have to wonder about Monica's motivations in this. Like, in why did she draw MC's attention to this poem? Like, I kind of wonder, like, is she toying with him? Is she toying with the player? Like, she's obviously... Monica, like, in all evidence, appears to get some joy out of tormenting Sayori. Even making jokes about it. You left her hanging. Like, there is some other stuff behind the scenes that sort of gives the hint that that Monica really struggles with what she's doing to the girls. She has to make excuses for herself and so on. And at this point, I wonder. Which this thing's gonna let me do this. In the base game, this is the point where the Happy Thoughts poem, or the Happy Thoughts image, shows up in the game files. I'm not sure if it works that way in this. I'm just curious. Can I'm just trying to bring up the game files. I'm not sure if DDLC Plus, if it works with you actually needing to look in the game files, or if you're just supposed to go in the metaverse thingy shell display thing that's outside of the game. It would make sense if you have to manipulate the files in the metaverse screen, because that way this can work with like consoles where you might not necessarily be able to browse. Wow, this thing is so slow. I'm having trouble bringing up the files. Anyway, I'm just curious about this. Yeah, okay, I'm opening up the files. I'm not seeing the Club Plus data. Yes, resource plugins managed. Okay. I don't think it's here. I don't think. You know, I have a feeling it's just going to show up in the metaverse screen thing. I'll have to look into that later. I'm taking up too much time here. Sorry. Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on in the chat here. Yeah, that's not like I got to pick my action title. Yeah, Monica's hang joke is the biggest point against Monty Seo being friends, but I always saw it as the first sign of her downfall after Seo kills herself and her trying to cope. Yeah. I didn't mean to kill Seo, just wanted her to be unlikable. Shame some people just ignore important stuff like that. It's hard to say since we don't get a ton of detail about exactly what she did, and they're from a rather unreliable narrator. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's some heavily meta-narrative aspects to this. Yeah. Monaco's lonely and has affected her greatly that she will do anything to get true happiness with the player, even if it means killing her friends. Along with saying they're not real, to try and feel as bad about what she did. Yeah. Yep. Okay, moving on. Ah. What is this? Reading the poem, I get a pit in my stomach. Tormuse? What's wrong? Yeah, like, just look at her acting all innocent. She knows exactly, like, the fact that he just and actually the fact that she asks what's wrong actually kind of makes me wonder, is she just playing pretend, pretending to act innocent, or is she testing him to see what kind of reaction he'll have to the Get Out of My Head poem? Because I mean, if he really is an autonomous, like, mindless character, like, theoretically he shouldn't have any reaction to the poem. So maybe this is her trying to get some understanding of where he's coming from. I don't know. Yeah, she didn't want to, but her mistakes costing the life of the club member she was closest friends with made her go, might as well do anything regardless of who dies. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Nothing. This poem feels completely different from everything else Sayori's written. But more than that, I changed my mind. I'm going to go get Sayori, so... well, alright. Try not to take too long, okay? It's hypocritical of her to say that because she's a character too, so she's not real either. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I quickly leave the classroom. Don't strain yourself, Monica calls that out after me. I quicken my pace. Excuse me. What was I thinking? I should have tried a little bit harder for Sayori. It's not a big deal to at least wait for her or help her wake up. Even the simple gesture of walking her to school makes her really happy. Besides, I told her yesterday that things will be the same as they always have been. That's all she needs, and what I want to give her. I reach Sayori's house and knock on the door. I don't expect an answer since she's not picking up her phone either. Like yesterday, I opened the door and let myself in. Excuse me. If even the dense MFer that is MC can figure out what this poem means, you know there's no way she doesn't get it. Yeah. Like yesterday, I opened the door and let myself in. Yeah, this is the eerie tension from the silence is at its peak. Of course, playing this the first time, I knew Sayori had killed herself. It's just a matter of finding out how she did it. And Sayori? She really is a heavy sleeper. I swallow. I can't believe I ended up doing this after all. Waking her up in her own house? Isn't that more like something a boyfriend would do? In any case, it just feels right. Outside Sayori's room, I knock on her door. Sayori? Wake up, dummy. There's no response. I really didn't want to have to enter her room like this. Isn't it kind of a breach of privacy? But she really leaves me no choice. I gently open the door. There's the other infamous line that launched 1,000 memes. Because it's the last line right before the thing. Here we go. Sayo. Serenity Force logo. Hey, that's me. Exception has occurred. File games. See traceback.txt for details. So yeah, since I have the files open, is there a traceback file? Yeah, there's no traceback.txt file here. So that file probably got put in the metaverse screen. Oh. Yeah, I'll look that up afterward. Okay, I was just curious. Anyway, yep, there's Dead Hang Sayori. There's Sayonara song playing. This is my draft. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. What the hell? What the hell? Is this a nightmare? It has to be. This isn't real. There's no way this can be real. Sayori wouldn't do this. Everything was normal up until a few days ago. That's why I can't believe what my eyes are showing me. I suppressed the urge to vomit. Just yesterday, I told Sayori I would be there for her. I told her I'd know what's best and that everything will be okay. Then why? Why would she do this? How could I be so helpless? What did I do wrong? Trying down her confession. That has to be what pushed her over the edge. Her agonized scream still echoes in my ears. Why did I do that to her when she needed me the most? Why was I so selfish? This is my fault. My swarming thoughts keep telling me everything I could have done to prevent this. If I just spent more time with her, walked her to school, and gave her what I know she wanted out of our relationship, then I could have prevented this. I know I could have prevented this. Screw the literature club. Screw the festival. I just lost my best friend. Someone I grew up with. She's gone. Forever now. Nothing I do can bring her back. This isn't some game where I can reset and try something different. I had only one chance, and I wasn't careful enough. And now I'll carry this guilt with me until I die. Nothing in my life is worth more than hers, but I still couldn't do what she needed from me. And now, I can never take it back. Never. 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 End. Oh. That end screen is brief. He's not suitable for those reasons. So yeah, one scene that tells you that this game is an innocent game. I hope everyone has seen this before, but just in case. Get in my head before I listened to everything she said. Line is so interesting. I think Monica never told Sayo to kill herself. Just stay away from MC and Sayo's eyes. That's the only way. That's an interesting take on it. Yeah. It's feeling here, but I plan to have Bernadette's uncle walk into her room and said, "Ooh, okay." These many times, yeah. I mean, like I said, I expect anyone watching my stream is already familiar with what happens there. So, you know, like this whole stream series is sort of a retrospective of the game rather than like a blind playthrough. Like, obviously, I can't do a blind playthrough of it because I've already played it a bazillion times. I will say that that part. I mean, I'm like totally blasé about the whole thing now because like I'm very far removed from the material. But I can tell you that the first time I played this 3.5 years ago, yeah, honestly, that scene kind of broke me. Like I had to stop playing for a while. Because it just hit too close to home. I actually had a neighbor hang himself some years back, I've just known a lot of suicidal people, and it's just freaking sad. It's just sad. Like a lot of people. Hold on a second. Says that my headcanon is that Monica didn't put any thoughts in her head directly, but by ramping up her depression, she increased Sarah's self-destructive thoughts to the point of unbearability. Yeah, I think that's a popular interpretation of it. Yeah. Yeah, I sort of. As I indicated before, I sort of feel like Siri had a lot of suicidal ideation going on long before Monica did any tampering. These events just sort of brought to the forefront of her mind. I mean, Monica's tampering brought to the forefront of her mind. Excuse me. Anyway, yeah. So it was just really sad. Like, Serio isn't even the character I identify with the most or anything, but I can identify with her whole depression talk and wanting to make people happy and put on a smile all the time. I suffer from depression myself, and I wear a smile a lot. I mean, heck, you see any of my posts either on the Reddit or Discord, I put smiley faces in there constantly. I do that as a deliberate choice. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm happy all the time, but yeah, that aspect of Sarah's personality is very relatable, and yeah, it just makes the whole thing kind of extra sad, and it took me a while to get back to the game to finish it and actually go through Act 2. Like, if that was the only twist, like if Sari's suicide was the only twist in the game, I would not have come back to the game. It was just sad. It wasn't a shocking twist to me. It was just all too relatable. It's just too relatable. But from this point on, this is where things get actually interesting. They get a lot more interesting. Because you get into the real meta aspect of the story, and this is what makes it so interesting and so good. And what kept me coming back to it, like even 3.5 years later. I won't say anything more about it, but I decided to walk into the room and said, "That's dialogue." Okay. Anyway, so if I hit low game, Yeah, oh yeah, and that the comment that MC's internal monologue makes, where like, this isn't some game where you can or you can just reload and choose something different. That's, you know, a little bit of meta stuff there. Like it's there to encourage the player to reload and make a different choice. But if we do, let's see if the same thing happens here. Like, select that, yeah. File error character / seri.chr. The file is missing or corrupt. The save file is corrupt, starting a new game. Here you go. I love that. The altered music. This is yeah. Incidentally, I think Dan Salvato, rather correctly, I dare say, anticipated that when people see the end screen after Sayuri dies, they're probably going to think, okay, I guess that's it, and exit the game. And so he did everything he could to make sure that people don't just exit after that, that they start up so they can see the actual game. Like, first he has MC say, make that comment about this isn't a game where I can reload, to prompt people to reload. Then he puts the glitch text in the place of new game on the load screen. Then he has the glitched out Sayori. Then he has the corrupted save file, which incidentally, I believe, if this follows the same thing, yeah, all the save games are erased. That's autosave. Even the autosave is erased. So there you go. And then when you start a new game, it has this glitch text here, and also has like the music was distorted at the beginning. It's a subtle thing, but just to make you feel like things aren't quite right. Things aren't quite the same this time. Anyway, I see an annoying girl running toward me from the distance, waving her arms in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. That girl is my neighborhood and good friend since we were children. You know, the kind of friend you'd never see yourself making today, but it just kind of works out because you've known each other for so long. We used to walk to school together on days like this, but starting around high school, she would oversleep more and more frequently, and I would get tired of waiting up. But if she's going to chase after me like this, I almost feel better off running away. However, I just sigh and idle in front of the crosswalk and let her catch up to me. Nice. Achievement unlocked, start a new game. Haha. I see. Nice one, Dan. It's an ordinary school day like any other. Mornings are usually the worst, being surrounded by couples and friend groups walking to school together. Meanwhile, I've always walked to school alone. There it is. That's the really ominous line of Act 2 or at least the first ominous line, where it's like, that's the confirmation that Sari's just been totally erased from existence. She never existed. Like, MC has now never had a childhood friend. Anyway, moving on. I always tell myself it's about time I meet some girls or something like that, but I have no motivation to join any clubs. I'm perfectly content to just getting by on the average while spending my free time on games and anime. There's always the anime club, but it's not like there would be any girls in it anyway. How presumptuous. School day is as ordinary as ever, and it's over before I know it. After I pack up my things, I stare blankly at the wall, looking for an ounce of motivation. Clubs? There really aren't any that interest me. Besides, most of them would probably be way too demanding for me to want to deal with. Guess I have no choice but to start with the anime club. Toy Muse? It's brilliant. Those glitch effects. Monica. I'm hoping that there are some new glitch effects in this that weren't in the original game. Is it like this? DDLC Plus thing, it's the perfect opportunity for Dan to introduce new glitch effects. What's this? DDLC soundtrack does a great job of telling the story, like how Ohio Story is one of the only tracks in the game without the piano, which is explicitly tied to Monika's presence. Interesting. Monika. Oh my goodness. I totally didn't expect to see you here. Sure you didn't, Monika. It's been a while, right? Yeah, it has. Monika smiles sweetly. We do know each other. Well, we rarely talked, but we were in the same class last year. Monika was probably the most popular girl in class, smart, beautiful, athletic, basically completely out of my league. So having her smile at me so genuinely feels a little... What did you come in here for, anyway? Oh, I've just been looking for some supplies to use for my club. Do you know if there's any construction paper in here, or markers? I guess you could check the closet. Oh. Wait, what? The music just stopped. That isn't my sound hardware failing, is it? Like, that's different. Is that something going wrong with the stream or something? Okay, I'm a bit creeped out by this now, because that's not what happened. Like, the sound isn't cut out. The music volume is still up. I guess you could check the closet. You're in the debate club, right? About that, I actually quit the debate club. Really? You quit? Yeah. To be honest, I can't stand all of the politics around the major clubs. Feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for events. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy, make something special out of it. In that case, what club did you decide to join? Actually, I'm starting a new one. Glitch effect coming. A literature club. Literature? That sounds kind of dull. How many members do you have so far? It's kind of embarrassing, but there are only 3 of us so far. It's really hard to find new members for something that sounds so boring. Oh, I can see that. But it's really not boring at all, you know. Literature can be anything. Reading, writing, poetry. I mean, one of my members even keeps her manga collection in the club room. Wait, really? Yeah, it's funny, right? She always insists that manga is literature too. I mean, she's not wrong, I guess. Yeah, this is kind of interesting to me too. That a lot of people see they think that like Yuri gives Natsuki a hard time about her manga, but she doesn't really. Like, Monika's the one who keeps taking digs at Natsuki for her love of manga. But I don't know. Anyway, yeah, like I get the feeling like Monika doesn't think very highly of Natsuki. That didn't happen when I played it. Oh, okay. Maybe I just encountered a bug, or maybe I don't know. Maybe my mouse doing its weird double clicking thing. I need to get a new mouse. Tripped something. Did I mute something by accident? Like, I don't know. Like, the music's on, the sound is on. Or maybe I just spent so much time doing my rambling commentary. Why the music stopped? That's freaky. Yeah, you know. Well, I mean, it is a different song. Like this is the glitched version of the song, which has a little like spin up at the beginning. You know, this might be a bug. You know, Team Salvato might have actually legitimately not tested the new version properly. And it didn't, just like the skipping feature not working properly in some scenes. You may have legitimately not let this play long enough to reach the end of the song. It is weird though. Anyway, moving on. And besides, a member's a member, right? Did Monika say she? Hey, Tormuse. By any chance, are you still looking for a club to join? I'm hoping the music starts up again once he gets to the club room. I mean, I guess so, but In that case, is there any chance you could do me a big favor? I won't ask you to join, but if you could at the very least visit my club, it would make me really happy. Please? Well, I guess I have no reason to refuse. Besides, how could I ever refuse someone like Monica? Sure, I guess I could check it out. Awesome. Yeah, he's still rationalizing things and being diplomatic and stuff. You're really sweet, Tormes, you know that? It's nothing, really. Shall we go, then? I'll look for the materials another time. You're more important. And thus today marks the day I sold my soul to Monica and her irresistible smile. I dejectedly follow Monica across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit. Monica, full of energy, swings open the classroom door. Okay, music's back. There we go. Yeah, I have a feeling that was just an untested bit of the thing where it just... Dan didn't realize the music stops. I wonder if I should be making like a running list of bugs that I can report to Team Salvato or something. Anyway, I'm back, and I brought a guest with me. Eh? Oh, hey. A guest? Seriously? You brought a boy? Excuse me. Interesting. It referred to Yuri as Girl 1 and Natsuki as Girl 2. When in the original DDLC, because Natsuki speaks up first, it referred to her as Girl 1 and Yuri as Girl 2. That's interesting they changed that. No, but honestly, like in vanilla DDLC, it continued to refer to Yuri as Girl 2 even though she spoke up first. Yeah, but you can already see that there are changes. In the original, in the Act 1, there are changes from Act 1. I mean, Yuri took. She in the first one, in Act 1, she introduces herself or she says welcome to the Literature Club, blah blah blah, you know, gives some formal pleasantries and all that. Now she's all blushing and is all flustered. So, which is a hint that Monica's already beginning to tamper with her. Anyway, moving on. Seriously, you brought a boy? Way to kill the atmosphere. Don't be mean, Natsuki. But anyway, welcome to the club, Tormes. All words escape me in the situation. This club is full of incredibly cute girls. So let me guess. You're Monica's boyfriend, right? What? No, I'm not. Natsuki? The girl with the sour attitude, whose name is apparently Natsuki, is one I don't recognize. Her small figure makes her look like a first-year student. But she isn't. She's 18. As the game is quick to remind you right at the beginning. Anyway, this is Natsuki, energetic as usual, and this is Yuri, the vice president. There's another change. It's nice to meet you. Yuri, who appears compared more. Okay, I'm gonna skip through some of the dialogue, which is the same as Act 1 here. Yeah, so I ran to Tormes in a classroom, and he decided to come check out the club. Isn't that great? Hey, Monica, didn't I tell you to let me know in advance before you brought anyone new? I was going to, well, you know. She wants to make cupcakes. Sorry, I didn't forget that, but I just happened to run into him. In that case, I should at least make some tea, right? Yeah, that would be great. Why don't you come sit down, Tormes? The girls have a few desks arranged to form a table. Yuri walks to the corner of the room and opens the closet. Meanwhile, Monica and Natsuki sit across from each other. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Monica. Didn't sit next to Sayori this time. So I know you didn't really plan on coming here, but we'll make sure you feel right at home, okay? As president of the Literature Club, it's my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone. I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. It must be hard to start a new club. You could put it that way. Not many people are very interested in putting out all the effort to start something brand new, especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention, like literature. This is the same dialogue as before. Right, Natsuki? Well, I guess. Natsuki reluctantly agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. I don't think she turned to Natsuki the first time around, but oh well. Monica must have worked really hard just to find these two. Yuri returns to the table carrying a tea set. She carefully places the teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot in the middle. Keep a tea set in the classroom. This is the same. Training. It's not. It's you know, I believe you. I'm glad. What kind of books do you like to read? Manga. Natsuki has had kind of. This is the same. This is the same. More the same of Act 1. Same as Act 1. Reading a lot of... Here comes a change. Anyway, I've been reading a lot of horror lately. Oh, I read a horror book once. And here, Monica says, I'd expect that from you, Yuri. In Act 1, Monica says, I'm surprised someone as gentle as you would be into horror. But this time around, Monica says, it suits your personality. This is part of Monica trying to drive a wedge between MC and everyone else. This is... which is very telling about Monica's values and so on, but I'll get into more about that later. But yeah, this is like right from the beginning, Monica is trying to just being very subtle about it to keep you away from the other two girls. Oh, is that so? Really, if a story is blah blah blah, it's the same as Act 1 stuff. I hate horror. Poem, give it back, fine. You write your own poems. Why do you care? I think it's impressive. Share them sometime. I'm a very confident writer. Same as Act 1, same as Act 1. Yeah, this is all the same as Act 1, except you don't have Suri going in there. Your poems, everything's so cute. Everything about you is so cute as you are. And so, yeah, just... Hey, I just got an idea. How about this? Natsuki and Yuri look quizzically at Monica. Let's all go home and write a poem of our own. Then next time we meet, we'll all share them with each other. That way, everyone is even. I mean, I thought it was a good idea. Yeah, this is where Sayori would have jumped in and saying, yeah, great idea, etc. Well, I think you're right, Monica. We should probably start finding activities for all of us to participate in together. I did decide to take on the responsibility of vice president after all. I need to do my best to nurture the club as well as its members. Besides, now that we have a new member, it seems like a good step for us to take. Do you agree as well, Tormuse? Hold on, there's still one problem. What's that? Now that we've reached the most important topic, I bluntly come forth with what's been on my mind the entire time. I never said I would join this club. Monica may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision. I still have other clubs to look at, and, I lose my train of thought. All three girls stare back at me with dejected eyes. But I'm sorry, I thought... Humph. Eh? Girls exchange glances before Monica turns back to me. I guess I need to tell you the truth, Tormuse. This line here is also kind of ominous. You know, any new player at this point is going to be like wondering like what the frick is going on. So her stepping forward saying, "Oh, you're going to tell the truth now, are you? Are you, Monica?" The thing is, yeah, even that line that like the thing is like ominous pause. We don't have enough members yet to form an official club. We need 4. And I've been trying really, really hard to find new members. And if we don't find one more before the festival... I'm defenseless against these girls. How am I supposed to make a clear-headed decision when it's like this? I feel terrible for letting everyone down in this situation. Besides, the club itself seems pretty relaxed. So, if writing poems is the price I need to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls... Right. Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the literature club. One by one, the girls' eyes light up. Oh, hey, that's interesting. Yuri and Natsuki popped up, but not Monica. Oh, because Monica just spoke a moment ago, so she had to focus on her. Because in Act 1, Monica didn't speak up, so all 4 of them popped up. Anyway. Oh my goodness, really? Do you really mean that, Tormuse? Yeah, it could be fun, right? You really did scare me for a moment.
I mean, if you really just left after all this, I would be super pissed.
And Tormes, I'm so happy we can become an official club now. Thank you so much for this. You're really amazing. I'll do everything I can to give you a great time, okay?
Thanks, I guess.
Okay, everyone. I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Everyone remember tonight's assignment. Write a poem to bring to the next meeting so we can all share. Monica looks over to me at once more. Tormes, I look forward to seeing how you express yourself.
Yeah, can I really impress the class star Monica with my mediocre writing skills? I already feel the anxiety welling up inside me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri cleans up the tea set.
Guess I'll be on my way then. This is when Sayori would have asked if you wanted to walk home together. I'm gonna save it here because I just want to check something because this is where the special poem's coming up. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow then. I can't wait. With that, I depart the club room and make my way home. The whole way, my mind wanders back and forth between the three girls, Natsuki, Yuri, and of course, Monica. Will they really be happy spending every day after school in a literature club? Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of these girls. Alright, just need to make the most of my circumstances and I'm sure that good fortune will find me. And I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. So here's where it says special poem. Unlocked a special poem. Would you like to read it? Yes. What do I get? A dream. I was staying over at my friend's place. There were 4 of us. I drifted off to sleep while everyone was talking and watching TV. In my dream, I was still at my friend's house. The only difference was that there were nails sticking out of the walls everywhere, and there was also someone I didn't recognize. The person I didn't recognize told a joke, and everyone laughed. I woke up to the sound of everyone laughing at something that happened on the TV, so the laughing was not part of the dream. It was the noise that woke me up. I wonder who that person was, and how they knew to tell a joke at that moment. I'm guessing this is something that Dan wrote based on his own experience to be kind of trippy, but there is some there's some merit to that. Like there is there's some what am I trying to say here? There are discrepancies in the ways the human brain interprets time and experiences time, I do think I do believe I don't know how much like I've read bits about it. I don't know how much the research there is about but one thing I've noticed, like, right, first of all, like I rarely remember my dreams, but the common science will tell you that like everyone dreams every night, like for at least part of your period of sleep. Like the fact that like the part where you're dreaming, that's where you get the most useful sleep, the most useful for cognitive function. Like if you don't dream, like you wake up like really out of it. It really negatively impacts your cognitive abilities if you don't dream. They've done lots of studies about that. But yeah, one thing I've noticed, like I only remember my dreams if I wake up from them. If I don't wake up from them, I don't remember them. And I think there is a bit of like sort of backwards perception in my memory, in that like I think I'm remembering it as it's happening, as the dream is happening, but I actually won't remember it after the fact unless I wake up from it. I think this is a Monica special poem. Most of them are linked to her, with Sayori getting 2 to 3 and Natsuki/Yuri getting 1 each. Huh, okay. I haven't thought about it in terms of those ratios, but I'll just look at that with that in mind. Anyway, what I was getting at was, and yeah, this is like I said, the brain interprets time in unexpected ways sometimes. Like the most
popular one is they call it the stopped clock illusion. If you have an ordinary clock, like say this one, it has like analog clock has a second hand that's ticking off the seconds. Does my mic pick that up? Ticking sound. If you're doing something unrelated and then quickly look at it, the second hand, like if you try to focus on the second hand, there's there's a period of greater than a second where the second hand looks like it's not moving, and it's because your brain is trying to process the fact that you suddenly moved, and it's trying to process what it's seeing, and it looks like the clock is stopped, like from your perspective, because your brain is still processing it in slow motion. Sometimes your brain actually it messes up its interpretation of time. There are other quirks in the way human beings experience the world, which aren't quite accurate to what they actually are. That's one of the ones that stands out, and I think that sort of thing is at play here. Like where the what am I trying to say here? Like you fell asleep in front of the TV, you hear laughter on the screen, that filters its way into your brain, it integrates itself as part of the dream. And your brain sort of retroactively puts the telling of the joke ahead of the laughter, but you remember it happening in sequence, but that's not actually how it happened. That's your brain playing tricks on you. Which is, I don't know, it's fascinating stuff to me. There's there are a lot of quirks in the way your mind works that like that. I'm doing a lot of rambling here. Chances an unknown fifth person, and the reason the others laugh being the TV seems like no coincidence. TVs are basically the most common hole in the wall too. Yeah. Nails sticking out of the walls everywhere. I mean, if this was intended to tie into the whole metagame aspect of it, like, what would the nails sticking out of the walls everywhere represent? Like, does this represent the human experiment prison? Like, is the unknown person like, Lady Libitina that or the white-haired, white-eyed character who shows up in the game files? Yeah, who knows? Anyway, moving on. I'm about to wrap up this JBS series. GP's gone. I'm gonna save because I want to reload. I'm curious. Like, if I reload this slot here, and does it show the same poem? That's what I'm curious about. Or I know the special poems are selected randomly. It's probably going to pick the same poem again. I'm just curious. Yeah, it's the same one. Okay. Yeah, just curious. Oh well. Anyway. So, yeah, I'll have to continue Act 2 another day. I think this is a good time to wrap this stream up. It's been 2.5 hours. Finally got to Act 2. Yay. I'm probably going to continue. I'm still do both Natsuki's route and then reload and do Yuri's route, just because They are very different. There are different jump scares and different glitch effects between them, and I think it's worth exploring them both. Plus, besides, there are a number of like extra. What am I trying to say here? I know there's some extra bonus rare events that if I spend longer in Act 2, maybe I'll have a better chance of getting them. But yeah, for now, return to the desktop, which means return to the metaverse thing. Hey, so yeah, I unlocked more side stories. So you got Monica and Sayori, Sari and Yuri, Natsuki and Monica, Sari and Natsuki, Yuri and Monica, and Natsuki and Yuri. Yeah, save the best for last. There's the not Sari there. Cool. I'm like I said, I'm gonna check those out another time after I've gone through the whole game. Did I unlock any new art? Hey, this is new. What's this? That's cute. Artwork drawn by Clea, which was used on some DDLC stationery items. Oh, okay. I think it's the same person who did the. There was a particular set of new emojis that were used in the various Discord servers, and I believe Clea was the one who did those. So yeah, so there's, yeah, here's the raccoon poem, here's third poem, it's the beach, and then there should be the Yuri Rude one, yeah, special poem. So, yeah, so that should be all of the Act 1 poems. Yuri's first CG, Yuri's second CG, and I think that should be all the art. What's this? Oh yeah, the special poem. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, if it doesn't re-randomize it each time, then yeah, in order to get 11, in order to get all 11 of the special poems, I think that means I would have to restart the game and skippy ahead to Act 2 repeatedly. Oh, that's a pain. Oh well. No new backgrounds unlocked, but hey. Oh hey, here you go. The first sketch of Sayori's third CG. This is eventually mirrored. Yeah, making the final CG one of the only instances where Sayori's bow is on the other side of her head. There you go. Wonder why they chose to mirror it. What's wrong with having it this way? Yeah, similarly, like with the first sketch of Yuri's first CG before being outlined and colored in, yeah, her hairpin is on the wrong side. That's her hair clip. That's always bugged me. Every other instance of her, it's on her left side, and here it's on her right side, which I don't know. First sketch of Yuri's second CG before being outlined and colored in. Like you never see Yuri with like two hair clips in, but yeah, I don't know. I just sort of headcanon that she has just the one hair clip. I think it looks kind of neat and distinctive that way. But the fact that it's on the right side here kind of ruins that. Anyway, new art. This is the Halloween one. Yeah, artwork drawn by Sachi to celebrate Halloween 2019. I remember that one. Sari in the cow costume is adorable. Natsuki's a magical girl. Cool. Now, listen to chronological order too. They do build on each other. Okay. The concept also has Seo in her uniform. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're right. So that was changed. She looks a little stunned in that image there. Cool. And was there anything new in the music section? Same set of songs. It still has little notifications. Like probably because I haven't actually tried listening to any of these. But yeah. So I guess that's it for today. Thanks to everyone who stopped by, and I seem to be doing this more or less daily. I mean, I missed yesterday. Sorry about that. But hopefully I'd like to see if I can continue doing this daily and, until I get to the end, because I do want to get to the new content. I'm kind of eager to do that. So yeah, until next time.